Indie games. In an industry that sometimes seems dominated by blockbuster AAA titles from huge studios, the independently produced projects are a much-needed annual infusion of fresh ideas and creativity that pushes the whole art form in exciting new directions. 2019 is shaping up to be no exception, with tons of new games in the works that offer a lot of promise. We at COGconnected have been keeping our eyes on all of them, and we've narrowed down 10 of the absolute most intriguing indie games to look out for this year. Come with us as we take a look at the best of the best in 2019. Number 10. The creators of the great Oxenfree bring us another intriguing narrative adventure, this time with the protagonists Milo and Lola as they travel through hell and try to outdrink the devil. Yes, you heard that right. Afterparty sounds like just the right amount of crazy to have us really looking forward to its 2019 release. Initial impressions suggest interesting characters, a compelling story, and lots of satirical humor. Just what we'd expect from the people who made Oxenfree such a surprise delight 2 years ago. Plus, it's a game where you have to drink all the time, so you'll have all the fun of being hammered without the nasty hangover. Number 9. Anyone who doubts that video games can be a deep cerebral experience have never heard of Blockbuster. From developer Nyam Nyam, it's a narrative adventure that puts you in the role of Simon Foreman, a real-life person who lived in 16th century England. He's a doctor, but not in our modern sense. You see, Foreman helps people with their problems, medical, personal, what have you, by using astrology. With a format that looks like interactive fiction, but blended with some strategy elements, Blockbuster has you using the stars to help your clients. Depending on what you suggest, you'll see multiple narrative paths and endings. No matter what the final product looks like, there's no doubt that this is one indie game that brings a unique novel idea to the crowded genre. Number 8. Bullet hell shooting, slowing down time, a sentient banana. Put them together and add ridiculously acrobatic movement and you've got My Friend Pedro. From developer Digital, egged on by Pedro, the banana of course, you move from room to room, gracefully slaughtering everyone in your path with your dual guns, all while dodging the return fire of an increasingly resistant mob of foes. My Friend Pedro's levels are like cutaway set pieces from a lost John Woo flick. And the mesmerizing flashing of guns combined with ultra-violent kill animations bring what the devs have promised will be a glorious ballet of death. The juggling of so many different gameplay elements doesn't look easy on the thumbs, but it sure does on the eyes. Number 7. Like a lot of video games these days, NeoCab takes place in a dystopian future, but what's unsettling about it is that it isn't much of a stretch from what our current real world is. While being ostensibly an interactive narrative about one female cab driver's adventure after her friend disappears, NeoCab is also a pretty blunt critique of such contemporary issues as AI, the gig economy, and surveillance. NeoCab is an indie title, but it's got a solid pedigree of veteran developers behind it, including folks who worked on the great Firewatch. They promise an experience that's filled with tough, emotional choices that really matter. But what really catches our eye is the game's stunning visual look. Reminiscent of early animated classics like Akira and Heavy Metal, NeoCab's cyberpunk world of violet and blue neon lights makes for one dystopian nightmare that we don't want to wake up from. Number 6. In the few spare moments when Sean Murray and Hello Games were not feverishly working to update No Man's Sky these past couple of years, they apparently found time to work on a whole new game, go figure. But to be clear, The Last Campfire announced only in late December and looks to be nothing like No Man's Sky. From what we know so far, The Last Campfire is a much smaller game in experience, an adventure about a lost ember trapped in a puzzling place, searching for a meaning and a way home. You'll explore wilderness, meet strange new creatures, and visit mysterious ruins. Number 5. If you like Firewatch, you should be excited for Campo Santo's follow-up, In the Valley of Gods. Due sometime this year, it's a single-player, first-person adventure that takes you to 1920s Egypt as an explorer/filmmaker who uncovers a whole lot more than they bargained for in their desert wanderings. Since it's from the creators of Firewatch, you can expect a lot of exploration through gorgeous natural vistas to go along with a riveting narrative. And this time you'll directly interact with an AI companion, Zora, so presumably that means that she'll be essential in the game's progression. That this journey will bring you fame and fortune or leave you for dead, buried beneath the sands. Say no more, we're already packing our bags. Number 4. It's a lovely morning in the village and you are a horrible goose. So goes the rather straightforward premise for this wacky indie game from Australia's House. You are a goose whose objective is to just run around, causing as much havoc as you can, all the while avoiding the local human inhabitants of town. It's simple and refreshing and looks like a hell of a lot of fun. Add to that a cool visual style that has the feel of a child's picture book, and Untitled Goose Game looks like it will waddle its charming way into our hearts in 2019. It's a mixture of cute characters and cheeky humor, there's a button dedicated just to honking, and it has a lot of people talking. We can't wait to see more details as the year progresses. Number 3. If you're a fan of the original Fallout games, you know, the ones on PC before Bethesda took the series over, then you've probably heard about Wasteland 1 and 2. These old-school post-apocalyptic isometric RPGs have the look and feel of the first 2 Fallout titles, and the third installment, hopefully coming in late 2019, promises to keep that flavor plus some new improvements. The trailer looks positively beautiful, and despite the top-down point of view, you can once again expect a deep gameplay experience that includes a well-written story and tons of dialogue tree options with NPCs. There's also exploration and combat and a huge factional open world. Bottom line, if you've wished for another helping of the classic Fallout games, this is likely the closest you're gonna come. Number 2. Ori and the Blind Forest has become almost legendary since its 2015 release. It had a beautiful art style, well-designed platforming gameplay, and a story that punched you right in the heart from the start. Now it's getting a sequel and looks like it's gonna be as good as the original, if not better. Ori and Sign are back, and the teaser trailers we've seen promise good things. Developers Moon Studios have smartly kept a lot of what made the original great while giving Ori and the Will of Wisp some improvements in the area of platforming and movement. One thing is for sure, since this is another Ori game, you can expect some serious feels once again from the second installment, and that is definitely a good thing. Number 1. There are lots of promising indies coming out in 2019, but the one that seems to have by far the most buzz is yet another spiritual successor to the Fallout games. The Outer Worlds from Fallout New Vegas vets Obsidian. It's not news by now that lots of people were disappointed by Fallout 76. But the Outer Worlds is looking to be just the antidote we've all been looking for, blending a New Vegas aesthetic with a sci-fi theme. This RPG ticks all the right boxes. Interesting narrative, branching outcomes, dialogue options, and a very cool looking universe to get lost in. There were some worries that Obsidian's acquisition by Microsoft might negatively affect the Outer Worlds, for example making it an Xbox exclusive or demanding changes to the game's design. But we've been assured that Microsoft will keep their hands off the game until release, and that it will be available for all platforms just as originally planned. And that's great news not just for Fallout fans, but for all gamers, because this is one upcoming title that looks like it will live up to all the positive hype. These are just 10 of the amazing indie games that are to come out this year, and 2019 is shaping up to be once again a strong year for those of us that love great independently produced games. How about you? Are there any titles that we missed? Any choices we made that you liked, disliked, felt extreme rage at? Let us know in the comments below.